Okay guys, good morning. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is on a suspension arm on a Mazda Jeep of some sort. I'm not too sure. I'll post that in the description. I don't think I've done a suspension arm video yet, so some are pretty simple, some are very difficult. This one here seems pretty easy enough, you know. Okay, so they have the steer knuckle end on it. It has the rear bush and a central bush here as well. Okay, this is part of the suspension system, but it also where it links your hub, which is part of your steering system. And so that's why we have like a ball jointed steer knuckle on it. Okay, so I'll just show you the old one here while it's in the car. And the reason we're replacing it is you can see that that ball joint is completely faulty. Okay, so we need to take off the pinch bolt, which runs through the ball joint here, which is a 14mm. So you take the nut end off first, put the gun on to the 14 and spin it, because this will more likely be seized and it should pop out nice and easy. We will then use a ball joint splitter, pop it in here, take the ball joint out of the hub, push the hub to the side and let the suspension arm come up. Okay, the bolt for this middle bush here, you have to take off a wee flap on the under tray, and it's just in there, so it's hiding away in here. Okay, then the last two bolts is on the back bush on the suspension arm. As you can see, we have one here and one here. Now the only real issue you get with these is lining them up, so make sure you line them up, start them by hand first before you tighten them all up. Okay, so gonna get started. Okay, so as we said, the first thing we need to do is remove the nut off the pinch bolt. As you can see, I don't need to actually hold the other end of that because it is seized. Okay, so the next step then is to go to the other side of the bolt. And now you can see I have the bolt out. It's the collar here that usually seizes inside the actual hub. Okay, so that's that bit done. Now what we're going to do is get a ball joint splitter and get the ball joint out of the hub. Okay, so we now have a ball joint splitter, which looks like a two-piece fork, but you can see it's wedged. So we'll put the wedge bit in and then we bait this into here. Now what you need to be aware of is whenever the ball joint comes out of the hub, that you do not pull on the hub out, because it will pull the drive shaft out of the gearbox and then you'll have oil everywhere. So that's one thing you need to be aware of. So get the ball joint splitter in. Okay, so the ball joint splitter is fully in. The suspension arm won't come down, so I now need an arm puller. Which is this hook shaped lever. Okay, and this hooks over the suspension arm. Like so. Put it in the suspension arm, and what we'll then do is pull down on this while we lever down on the arm while we head out the ball joint. It's hard to see if it's coming down. It is a hard job to do by yourself. It's much easier if someone's levering down on it for you. You can actually see the damage in that ball joint. Well, that's dangerous. That puts off the wheel alignment and stuff, wear off tires, you know, the suspension system won't be tight whatsoever. Okay, so now you can see I've got the ball joint out of the hub. Just move the hub slightly to the side. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our other bolts to here, and our one up and under the under tray in here. These are all 18s. I've already pre-loosened this, but now we're just going to take this one out which is hidden. Okay, so that's that bolt out. Now it's just these two bolts at the back, and we'll use a gun. We're an 18 on it for these two. That one's short, that one's long. Okay, so now all we need to do is actually get the arm out of the subframe. Okay, and we'll use a pry bar for that. Okay, got our pry bar. All we then need to do is start prying out the arm. Okay, so you can see it goes up in here too. There you go. We'll have our old one out. We'll have our new one in. Okay. Now, believe it or not, that's the easiest part. The hard part is getting it in, getting all the bolts lined up and then getting her tightened, but once that's done you're fine. So always match up your arms to make sure that it's the correct ones. They're always sided as well for each side. And another thing I'm going to do then also is our pinch bolt for the ball joint, is we're going to go down to the wire wheel. Give this a good wee clean. Should have also mentioned also is, see the wee plastic bit that comes on the ball joint end. Make sure that that's on, because that can, when you're trying to put it in, it can hit off the disc or whatever, and you can rip the boot on the ball joint. If that rips, grease comes out. So always try and keep that protected until the very last minute. Okay, so what we'll have to do is get this end into here, this end into here, then we'll put the ball joint end into here, and then we'll build it all back up. Yeah, and to make this job easier, now this one did have a faulty track rod end, so I'm going to replace that also. But just take the track rod out of the hub. It allows a bit more movement here in your hub for you to get your suspension arm in, because see this suspension arm, it's hanging now, but it needs to be, for it to go in nice and easy, it needs to be nice and straight up about here, about this height, for it to slat in. Okay, so that's that bolt started. That's them two bolts started. I'm just about to put my ball joint in, but you can see on the ball joint it has a lip out of it. That's the actual spot where, see the bottom of the lip, when you're looking through this hole, it needs to be at the very bottom here, because the bolt goes through this lip and it locks the ball joint in place. Okay, so whenever you're doing that, make sure that that's lined up. So you can see a wee bit sticking out. Still sticking out. Looks like I'm going to need to put a tall axle stand under to get it in. Okay, but just make sure that that's lined up. Okay, so the ball joint's in with the split pin bolt. A bit of copper grease and stuff in there. The 18mm bolt for the back bush is in, nice and tight, and the flaps back on, and the rear bushing is tight. So a wee bit of fiddling about to get them all lined up. Once you get them all lined up, get all your bolts tight and you're good to go. So that's how you do a suspension arm. More than likely, all suspension arms like that. This one is on a Mazda CX-5. Okay, so but a lot of suspension arms are quite similar, same process. So hope you like this video. Look out for the next one. Cheers, thank you for watching.